Hello, football fans. We are ready for NFL picks for week number 13 in the league where they play. For pay! Great to be back with you. The best audience in all of YouTube is right here. Week number 13 already. How fast is this season going? We're going to be in the playoffs soon. Time goes very fast. Anyway, week number 13. I was 11-4 last week. Back to my winning ways. 132-55 through 12 weeks. That averages out to about 11, 12-4 each week. And remember, that includes a 3-week spell where I was kind of around 500 for 3 weeks. That's when all those crazy games were taking place, like Jacksonville beating Buffalo. But overall, doing well. Last week, very well. Let's keep it going. Pick number 1. Let's go to the Thursday night football game. The Superdome. The Big Easy. Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday. Who dat? With the Dallas Cowboys are -6 against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are down to 5-6, and they got obliterated by Buffalo on Thanksgiving. They got destroyed in that game. The Saints have too many guys out. Too many guys out. Kamara now has missed a month. Hill is still hurt. Simeon is not the answer. You know Winston's gone for the year. Michael Thomas hasn't played in 2 years. The defense has injuries. The Saints have too many guys out, and I know at 5-6, they're still alive for a playoff spot, but the Saints are not doing major damage this year. Too many people out. And then you got the Dallas Cowboys. They're down to 7-4, lost to Vegas. I was very surprised about that. Cooper and Lamb were out. We'll see if they play this week. Cowboys are thinking about maybe sitting Elliott this week. We'll also keep an eye on that. But the Cowboy defense got carved up like a Thanksgiving bird. From start to finish. From start to finish, the Raiders carved them up. The Raiders had 500 yards in total offense. Deshaun Jackson was running wild in the Cowboys secondary, running for touchdowns, and it started early. The Cowboy defense didn't play well. And Mr. Aikman has to calm down about the officials. I know there was a lot of penalties. I know there was some questionable calls. And I always say that about Thursday Night Football. You're going to get sloppy games. You're going to get a lot of penalties because the teams are not used to playing on just 3 days rest. You see it every Thursday. A lot of penalties, a lot of sloppy play. And yes, there were some questionable calls. But Troy Aikman has to calm down and stop blaming the officials. That is not why the Cowboys lost this game. And it's very hard, I understand, for Troy Aikman, who's a lifetime Cowboy, to be objective when he's doing a Cowboy game. And we love Aikman. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great player. He's a good announcer. But it's just human nature. He played his whole career on the Cowboys. You can tell he's rooting for the Cowboys. And all he kept talking about, not only on Thursday, but on Sunday when he was doing the Green Bay LA Ram game, which had nothing to do with Dallas, he kept going back to the Thanksgiving Day game and talking about all the bad calls that Dallas got against him. Come on, Troy. Come on, Troy. That's not why Dallas lost the game. They lost the game because they gave up 500 yards of offense to a Raider team that hadn't moved the ball from here to there in a month. Let's keep that in mind. That's why the Cowboys lost the game, and I was shocked. Listen, I could see Aikman saying it the day of the game, but days later when he's calling the Green Bay Ram game, he's still talking about the calls against Dallas. Come on, Troy. Give us a break. Come on, I know you're rooting for Dallas. I understand that. It's tough to be objective. You love your Cowboys. You cannot talk about the Cowboy game and how they got, screwed by the officials 4 days later when you're covering the Ram-Green Bay game. That's not why Dallas lost the game. They lost the game, and I know I'm repeating myself, because they gave up 500 yards of offense to the Raiders, who couldn't move the ball from here to there in a month. And another thing, about the boys. Why is it every time something goes well for Dallas, they show Jerry Jones up in the booth celebrating, hugging his grandson up there with his wife, hugging all his relatives. But as soon as something goes bad, they don't show Jerry Jones at all. How come when the Raiders kicked that game-winning field goal, we didn't go right up to the booth and see Jerry Jones shaking his head in disgust? They never do that. That's inconsistent. You can't have it that way. So you're only going to show Jerry Jones when something goes well, but not when something doesn't go well. They're obsessed with Jerry Jones throughout the whole game. The whole game. Anytime Dallas does anything, let's shoot up to the booth and see Jerry Jones celebrating. But as soon as something goes bad for Dallas, no more shots of Jerry Jones. That's inconsistent. And I blame that on the networks. So that was not a good loss for the Cowboys at all. Dallas, -6 in New Orleans. I'm going to move it to pick 'em in a 2-team teaser and take Dallas. I have to think Cooper and or Lamb are going to play this week. New Orleans looks to me like they're shot. They have nothing left. They're decimated with injuries. I mean, I have to like Dallas here to respond. I have to. And by the way, I don't want to hear anyone saying I'm picking on the boys, because I've been fair to the boys. I've been fair to the boys. I have picked the boys just about every week. I've done well with the boys. I think in Cowboy games this year, I'm like 9-2, either way, picking for or against them. And I picked them a lot and won with them a lot. So I don't want to hear that I'm being unfair to the boys and I'm being unfair to Aikman and Jerry Jones. I don't want to hear it. I've been fair to the boys. They didn't lose the game last week because of the officials. They lost because their defense was atrocious. Yeah, they had some guys out, but the defense gave up over 500 yards to the Raiders. End of story. I'll take them here, though. Pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go to the Motor City in Detroit when the Minnesota Vikings are -7 against the Detroit Lions. Lions 0-10-1, lost to Chicago on Thanksgiving. What else is new? The Lions are looking at that number 1 draft pick, and they need it. Minnesota, they're down to 5-6, lost a tough game to San Francisco. Their defense is just not good enough. The Vikings have some offensive talent. They just don't have a great defense. They just do not have a great defense. Had a couple of turnovers in the game. Cook goes out. I don't know if he's playing this week. Minnesota, another one of those teams that's still alive for the playoffs. Basically, the whole NFC is alive for the playoffs, minus maybe the Lions and the Seahawks. That's what that 7th, wild card team does for you. That 7th place team gets in the playoffs this year. That opens up the whole conference to making the playoffs. Everyone's alive. Teams under 500 are alive. It's ridiculous. I'll move the line to 1 and take the Vikings. Listen, it's simple. The Lions don't have any wins. Why would I expect them to win here? Minnesota needs this game to get up to 6-6. They have a good offensive team. They have just more talent than Detroit. I like the Vikings. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go to the Windy City Soldier Field with the Arizona Cardinals are -7 against the Chicago Bears. Chicago up to 4-7, beat Detroit behind Mr. Andy Dalton. We'll see if Fields plays this week. Remember, Mack is out for the year. Arizona, they're coming off a bye. They're 9-2. They have the best record in football. I expect Murray and Hopkins to be back this week. McCoy did a very good job filling in for Murray. Can't complain about that. Arizona at 9-2 has to be a surprise this year. I don't think anyone thought they'd be the best record in the NFL at this point in the season. They are a contender to win it all. I'll move the line to 1 and take Arizona. They're coming off a bye. They're getting healthy. They have the best record in football. And do we really trust Chicago? Do we really trust them? They barely eked it out against the Lions. I mean, come on. I don't love Dalton. I don't even know if Fields is going to play. I can't trust Chicago. Arizona's defense should eat them up. I'll move it to 1 and take Arizona. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go down to hot Atlanta, ATL. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are -11 against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta up to 5-6, held on to beat Jacksonville in an ugly game in North Florida. Tampa Bay, they're up to 8-3, a very quality win in Indianapolis. That was a very good game. They were down 24-14. They showed their championship medal. They rallied back to win. That was a very good win for Tampa Bay. We'll see if Brown gets back this week as well. Listen, for all you 4-team teaser lovers, you get 12 points. You moved it to basically pick them. You got to like Tampa Bay here. Atlanta just doesn't have enough to contend with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's got too much firepower. You know they want to get hot at this point in the year like they did last year. They're not going to take Atlanta lightly here. I think Tampa Bay rolls in this game. I like the Bucs. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. This is the Sunday night football game. Let's go to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where the Kansas City Chiefs are -10 against the Denver Broncos. Denver up to 6-5, beat the LA Chargers. I told you Denver was going to play a big-time game. They did. Bridgewater was in and out of the lineup. He was hurt, then he came back. They had the big pick 6 by the rookie. So Denver finally played a good home game. Kansas City, they're up to 7-4. They're coming off a bye, and Kansas City is playing their best football of the year. I wrote them off. I apologize, Chief fans. I thought they were dead and buried. They look like they can play with anybody in the AFC right now. 3-team teaser, move it to 1. You gotta like the Chiefs here. I know the Broncos had a big win at home, but now you're going on the road into Kansas City. They're coming off a bye. They're playing well. They're getting healthy. Defense much improved. Andy Reid 2 weeks to prepare. I gotta like the Chiefs here. The Broncos would show me a lot if they won this game. I don't think it's gonna happen. I like the Chiefs. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go down to Houston, Texas, where the Indianapolis Colts are -9 against the Houston Texans. Texans down to 2-9, lost to the Jets. That just improves their draft pick. So not all is lost for the Texans. They'll get a great draft pick this year. Indianapolis, they're down to 6-6. I just mentioned they lost a tough game to Tampa Bay, blew a 24-14 lead. I thought they got away from their running game too early. Taylor has had a monster year. They kind of got away from him midway through this game. Came back to cost them, I think. They should have stuck with Taylor more in this game. Tough loss for Indianapolis. 3-team teaser. You get 9 points. You're moving to pick them. You got to like the Colts. How could you possibly like the Texans? They just lost to the Jets. Do I need to say more? Colts roll. Pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from here. No road trip for me this week, but this would be one that would be on the list, where the Philadelphia Eagles are -7 against the New York Football Jets. Jets up to 3-8, did beat the Texans. I don't know if that's a good thing for the Jets. I mean, remember, the Jets have 2 draft picks this year. They have Seattle, 2 number 1 picks, I should say. They have their own pick, which is obviously going to be high, like it always is, and they have Seattle's pick this year. And Seattle's having a miserable season. The Jets could have 2 top 10 picks. And I know the Jet fans love the draft. They live for the draft. The draft is the Jets' Super Bowl. New hope for the Jets. So they might have 2 picks in the top 10. So I don't know if beating the Texans was all that great. Maybe they should have lost to them and got an even better draft pick. But anyway, in all seriousness, they did win. Give them credit for that. Eagles. Oh, the Eagles. And I picked the Giants last week. The Eagles down to 5-7, lost to the Giants, and played a miserable game. They were miserable. The Eagles are so unpredictable. Up and down. Upside down. The Eagles, you turn me inside out and round. Upside down, you turn me. That's the Eagles. They are up and down. One week they score 40 points. The next week, they can't get in the end zone against the Giants. I mean, the Eagles are very, very up and down. Very, very unpredictable. I guess when you're playing a young quarterback, you should expect that, but the Eagles are very drastic. As far as this particular game, Eagles -7 in the Meadowlands against the Jets. I'm going to move it to 1 and take the Eagles. I do not trust the Jets. I know they beat the Texans, but that was ugly. Wilson didn't look great. And I have to think the Eagles, who just played in the Meadowlands and laid an egg against the Giants, now they return to the scene of the crime. You have to think they're going to play better here. You have to think they're going to beat the Jets. The Eagles' MO is, up and down. They should be up this week. I like the Birds. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to the jungle in Cincinnati, where the Cincinnati Bengals are at home, -3 against the LA Chargers. Chargers are down to 6-5, lost to Denver. I'll tell you, the Chargers do not stop the run. They had a lot of turnovers, and the Chargers, after a hot start, have not played great football lately. And I like the Charger team. I love the quarterback, but they have not played great lately. Cincinnati, they're the opposite. They're up to 7-4. They just smacked around Pittsburgh. Remember, it wasn't that long ago, like 3 weeks ago, that Cleveland, who can't score against anyone, went into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals 41-10. Since then, the Bengals have looked great in the last couple of weeks, scoring a lot of points, playing great on both sides of the ball. That's the NFL, week to week. So the Bengals have turned it around. They're up to 7-4. They're looking like a solid team. And like I said, just 3 weeks ago, they lost to the Browns 41-10. Unreal. This is a tough game. This is a big game as far as the playoffs. A monster game when you're talking about the wild card, because the Chargers are a game behind Cincinnati here. I'm going to move it to 9 and take the Chargers. I have to think this game is going to be close. This should be like a playoff game. This should be like a playoff game. Major playoff ramifications here. So I'm going to move it to 9 and take the Chargers to keep it close in a very interesting game. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9, let's go down to South Beach, Miami, Florida, with the Miami Dolphins at -3 against the New York Football Giants. Giants up to 4-7, beat Philadelphia, and like much of the NFC, the Giants are only like a game out of a playoff spot. Playoffs? Giants? Give me a break. Oh my goodness, the NFC, everyone's alive. Everybody's alive. How about the Dolphins? They're 5-7. They just mauled Carolina. They've won 4 straight. Tua playing well. Waddle, the young rookie, playing well. The Dolphins all of a sudden look like the team we thought they'd be in the beginning of the year. What happened? Where were they in the beginning of the year? Their defense is playing well. They look solid right now. They look like a solid team, Miami. I thought this is how they play the whole year. But for 2 months, they were lost in space. I'm going to move this line to 9 and take the Giants. This is a very tricky game. You got 5-7 against 4-7. Both teams alive for the playoffs. The Giants are actually closer to a playoff spot than Miami is. This is a very interesting game. I'm going to move it to 9 and take the Giants. I think it's close. I think it's a field goal game either way. It should be a defensive battle. I think it'll be close. The Giants just beat Philadelphia. I'll say it's a close game. Hard to pick a winner. Field goal game either way. I'll take the Giants in a teaser. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go out to the desert. Sin City, Las Vegas. With the Las Vegas Raiders just win, baby, again. On -3 against the Washington football team. Washington, they're suddenly up to 5-6. They're playing better. They hold on and beat Seattle last night. Heineke's doing some good things. The defense is now playing good. So Washington right there as well. And how about Vegas? They look like a dead carcass for a month. They go into Dallas on a short week and beat the Cowboys. Vegas is up to 6-5. That was a very important win for Vegas. Very important win. I couldn't believe Carter Jackson opened up the scoring. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. But that was a nice win by Vegas. Really nice win. So we're out in the desert here, in front of the black hole, the Grim Reaper, Vader. Vegas is -3 against Washington, another tough game. I'm going to move it to 9 and take Washington. I think Washington's defense is going to keep this game close. Both teams coming off wins. Washington's playing much better. This should be a close game, much like the last 2 games I talked about. I think it's the same type of game. Again, I'll move it to 9 and take Washington. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11, big rivalry game here. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh, with the Baltimore Ravens a -3.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers down to 5-5-1, got blasted by Cincinnati. The Steelers are now in last place. The Steelers were doing some good things, and now it's all come apart in the last 3 weeks. They tied the Lions. I know Roethlisberger was out. Then they have that game against the Chargers where they were down big. They come rallying back, blow it at the end, and then they just got dusted here by Cincinnati. So the Steelers 5-5-1, last place. Baltimore, they're up to 8-3. They have the best record in the AFC. They hold on to beat Cleveland in a defensive battle. By the way, I said that game was going to be 16-13. It was 16-10. Show some love. Jackson, despite the win, had 4 picks. I'd be a little worried about that. A little worried about this Baltimore offense. The last 3 weeks, they haven't exactly lit it up. I don't think they've broken 20 points the last 3 weeks. That would worry me going into the playoffs because we've seen this act before with Baltimore. Best record in the conference, get to the playoffs, fall on their face. And I don't totally trust them. And I don't totally trust Jackson. I don't totally trust the Ravens. We'll keep an eye on them. And listen, I've been very supportive of Baltimore. They had 1 million guys on injured reserve. They've plugged in all these holes, and they have the best record in the conference. But I don't trust them or their offense right now to win it all. I just don't. You know this game, Baltimore-Pittsburgh. Throw out the records. Throw out what happened last week. The games are always close. These teams notoriously play close games. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take Pittsburgh. I get 9.5. I get Pittsburgh at home in a rivalry game. And Pittsburgh has to be humiliated about how they played last week. They will play better this week. Not saying they're going to win. They'll play better. This game will be close. I'll take the Steelers plus 9.5. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go out to Los Angeles where the LA Rams are minus 13 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville down to 2-9. No surprise there. Lost to Atlanta. I mean, what we know Jacksonville's not any good. How about the Rams? How about the Rams? Talk about diddly-poo. They're down to 7-4. Lost to Green Bay. Their defense got carved up again. Rodgers had his way with them. The Rams are overrated. And I know Stafford had a couple of big plays, kept them in the game. The Rams are overrated. The defense is overrated. It just is. It's overrated. They've given up a ton of points now to 4 different teams. This defense is not dominant. They have a moment here or there. They are overrated, and they are in a bad spot, the Rams. The NFC, the top of the NFC is loaded. The Rams are going to be a wild card team, and they're going to have to beat all these teams on the road. Do you think they can do it? Do you think the Rams could go in to say, go in and beat Dallas, then go in and beat Green Bay, then go in and beat Arizona, back to back to back? I don't think it can happen. I don't think so. I think they're overrated. And to Mr. Ramsey, and I don't want to blame it all on him, but he does the most chirping on the Rams. You know how they serenade the goalie in the NHL? Well, I'm going to serenade Mr. Ramsey because I think the Rams are overrated. Ramsey! 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 I think the Rams are overrated. And I don't think they get into the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, there's a better chance they get knocked out in the first round than they get to the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, you have to take them here against the Jaguars. 4-team teams are moving to 1, take the Rams. They can't possibly lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, can they? No, they'll beat up on Jacksonville, and they'll be talking their game. They'll be bullying Jacksonville around. Not going to impress me at all until they beat a really quality team. They've only done that once this year. That was early in the year against Tampa Bay. That seems like a long time ago. But I'll take the Rams here. That's pick number 13. I'm sorry, pick number 12. Rams are overrated. Now we get to pick number 13. Let's go to Seattle, where the San Francisco 49ers are minus 2 against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle down to 3-8, lost to Washington. They have the second worst record in the NFC. And like I just mentioned, they traded away their number 1 draft pick to the Jets, so they don't even have that to look forward to. Oh, I thought Seattle's defense played as well as they possibly could have last night. The offense does nothing. The offense does nothing. Wilson looks shaky. They don't run the ball well. I mean, they don't move the ball at all. They don't score a lot of points. Hard to put all that pressure on your defense. Seattle, 3-8. Hard to believe. Then you got the Niners. The Niners have completely turned it around. They are now up to 6-5. They beat Minnesota. They are mashing the ball. They're physical. They're nasty. I love the way the Niners are playing right now, and I never saw this coming a month ago. The Niners are getting hot at the right time. Normally, I would move this state and take Seattle. This is not a normal season for Seattle. I think San Francisco wins the game. You could even wrap it around in a teaser and take the Niners in a 2-team teaser +4. That's probably the way I'll play it. I think the Niners are just going to win this game. I think they're better right now. They're hotter. Seattle can't do anything right. I got to like the Niners here. You got to go with the hot team right now. You have to. And Seattle has been just dreadful this year. Niners are on fire. I'll take the Niners. That's pick number 13. And pick number 14, this is the Monday Night Football game, and oh, is this a beauty. This is an absolute beauty, this game. Let's go up to Buffalo, where the Buffalo Bills are at home, -3 against the New England Patriots. This is a great game. This is for the division, possibly. These two teams play each other, I think, a couple times in the next few weeks. This is a major game. Major game. Bills up to 7-4. Beat New Orleans, looked better. The Bills, that's the Bill team we always think we're going to get. We sometimes don't get it, though. They sometimes lay an egg on you, like losing to Jacksonville. They're a strange team, Buffalo. You have such high hopes for them. And then you got New England. How about New England? They're up to 8-4. Beat Tennessee. They just keep rolling. What is that, 6 in a row for New England? Quarterback playing well. Defense playing well. Running game playing well. They're taking the ball away. Can't say anything negative about New England. Can't do it. You just can't do it. Tremendous job by the New England Patriots. I'm going to move this line to 9 and take the Patriots. They've been playing just lights out football. I have to think this game is going to be close. I have to think somehow, someway it's going to be close. The Patriots usually play the Bills close. They usually play them close. Even when the Bills are favored to win, the Patriots usually give them a tough time. Patriots usually give the Bills a tough time. So I'm going to go with New England here, +9, to at least cover in a teaser, if not win the game outright. But it's a spectacular game. The crowd should be jumping in Buffalo. Should be a tremendous game to watch. So that is pick number 14. You have 4 teams on a bye this week. Carolina on a bye. Carolina's down to 5-7. Got obliterated by Miami. Did you see Cam Newton's stats? Cam Newton, 5 for 21, 92 yards and 2 interceptions. Cam Newton, 5 for 21, 92 yards and 2 interceptions in today's NFL. Are you kidding me, Cam Newton? You're not back. Defense, which I keep hearing is great, got carved up as well. Carolina, they're finished. I mean, they're absolutely finished. All I saw from the Carolina coach during the game is he kept putting eye drops in his eyes. Might not want to do that. You didn't want to see this mess. And I know Carolina's 5-7 and not done. I personally think they're done. I have no hope for them at all. No hope for them at all. I mean, McCaffrey's out for the year now. So Carolina's on a bye. I think they're finished. Tennessee's on a bye. They need a bye in the worst way. They're down 8-4, lost to New England. Too many injuries. Got to get healthy. Cleveland on a bye. They're down to 6, lost to Baltimore. Defense playing well. Offense can't move the ball from here to there. They just can't do anything on offense. And Green Bay on a bye. They're up to 9-3, beat the Rams. Rodgers limping around, still getting it done. Green Bay, a major player here. They could get to the Super Bowl. If I had to pick right now who was going to win the Super Bowl, a team in the NFC or the AFC, I'd probably lean towards the NFC. All right, here's your playoff standings right now. Remember, the top seed in each conference gets a bye. 7 teams make the playoffs. AFC, right now, Baltimore's the 1, New England's the 2, Tennessee the 3, Kansas City the 4, Cincinnati the 5, Buffalo the 6, and the Chargers are the 7. Those would be your teams right now. Vegas, Denver, Indianapolis still in the hunt. I guess you could say Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Miami is still hanging around. We'll see about those teams. NFC, Arizona's the 1, Green Bay's the 2, Tampa Bay's the 3, Dallas the 4, Rams the 5, Niners the 6, Washington's the 7. Washington's in the last playoff spot. Minnesota, Atlanta, New Orleans, Philly, Carolina, Giants, Bears, all still alive. You basically everyone in the NFC is alive besides Seattle and Detroit. Same thing in the AFC. The only teams I would eliminate in the AFC are probably the Jets, the Texans, and Jacksonville. With that 7th team making the playoffs, everybody's alive. So it should be wild coming down the home stretch. Let's keep an eye on who gets hot now. Whoever gets hot now is going to win it, like Tampa Bay did last year. You're all caught up. You're all set for week number 13. Let's keep the winning going. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Thanks for all the support. Enjoy the games. Take care.